Hi, Douglas Van Doon with Market Share. So my question is to Chris around storytelling, and actually everybody here, and to follow on your question. We're seeing the same advertising, the same message repeated over and over. It's getting dull and boring. What can we do in terms of storytelling to, and we're in the land of law with screenwriters all around, what can we do to tie together this entire experience from a technological perspective, from a storytelling perspective, from a UX perspective, to create a narrative that engages versus just repeating the same story over and over again?
Brilliant question. It's a brilliant question. Thank you, Douglas. Chris Stowe. Good luck on that one. Well, what he's saying is,
That's a great question. Thank you.
How can we work, like, how can a screenwriter and a UX guy, how can a screenwriter, UX guy, and some tech guys, work together to develop something? So it's really a question of what do we do here in LA, or what do we end up doing if we're isolated in our own communities? Screenwriters are screenwriters, designers are designers. You can come to tech mornings.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I'm not sure I'm going to have an answer that's going to be able to satisfy that. Okay.
Right now as we speak.
Thanks, Jose.
We are. No. Well, what are we doing?
Well, I kind of look at this model of advertising about talking to somebody or trying to sell them something. I think would have been effective, or it was effective, kind of 20th century, 21st century. I think you either explain something to somebody or you document it, because it's so easy to validate if your claims are true or not. And that can happen as a 30-second piece of information, as it exists in a broadcast TV thing, or it could exist as a product that you use on your app. I think the more transparent you become and the more transparent the messaging is, I think the more likely you are to connect with a consumer or user. And so they want to be a part of the conversation and not just be talked to. So that's how I kind of look at it.
That's a great answer. So it is that instead of getting paid to do the script for a commercial that talks about, hey, here's how great the product is in a metaphoric way, that he's saying that there's going to be explanatory videos, or there's going to be applications that explain the product. Marketing ultimately is education about the product. The challenge where we're suffering is that in the 20th century we were selling commodity products that were mass manufactured and that needed to be moved quickly. So all the mechanics of 20th century marketing are discounts, sales, all those kind of things are there to move the product when it's manufactured in scale, versus to move a narrow channel of user or customer-based product, like an iPhone. Notice, high price, low amounts, high margin product. That's a better model for product creation, in this case in hardware, in the 20th century. The same thing goes for services. The storage place that Chris is working on, why would a storage place invest on designing a beautiful experience and the touch points and everything being focused around the customer experience from end to end? So the narrative that you're going to be writing, and we can have this conversation afterwards offline, because I'm working on that with startups and with other companies, is a narrative across the user life cycle, and then you pick little points where you actually have technology, or you have processes, or you have the web, whatever it is, intermediating the processes that you're going through. So it's really, you're designing the movie now, and you're doing all the prop selection, and you're doing all the details that before were kind of left just to be inside a narrative. Now they're actually alive. Everything is alive. Diego, do you want to add anything to that?
I just remembered this other thing. Nest, the company that makes those really smart thermostats, they came out with a new smoke detector that is just that really caught my attention. And I think the way that they're speaking to me, I don't necessarily feel like I'm being marketed to, but I probably am, is somebody probably thought about the entire experience on the web and broke it down to little bite-sized pieces as you move through it, and they also embed really well-produced videos. So I think instead of looking at it like, we'll make some videos and we'll build the site after, or building a site now, we need video content. I think if you think about it as a whole, you'll probably have a much more successful solution to the problem. And that way, I can dig deep into something, or I can just get the bullet points and jump down to, I just need to buy this at this point.